Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Aunty Pharmacist podcast. Of course, it's the TGIF episode. And guess what I'll be talking about today? Well, the topic for today is nothing drug related per se. I just thought about it that it is high time I talked about my journey up to this point. For those that do not know me well, I don't think that bio did me justice, alright? So I thought it's time for you to know me better. So, on a serious note, actually, I've been thinking for a while now that I ought to, put it out there, my story till this point. But what actually made me more serious about it is the fact that I just finished my master's degree and my convocation was yesterday, Thursday, and I just thought by myself that a lot of people see me, people that know me, and others that don't, and they just think that this girl has it going good and all of that. Of course, I have it going good, thanks to God, but I've shared my story to a few people in the past and they couldn't believe what they were hearing. It was like, this thing happened. So I thought about it that a lot of people may be going through this same thing, at any point in their lives, in their education, in their career, and they might just need this encouragement. Apart from that, that this past week, it's like the universe and everything around has been telling me, share your story, share your story, share your story. I would look on WhatsApp status, this one, share your story. You don't know who it might inspire. I will go here, I will share your story. I'll be like, okay, I will not hold this anymore. Let me just share it once and for all. So, here goes. Alright, so my name is Adebisi Jose Bemisola Olushayo Veronica. Not many people know that, but that's it. That's my full name. And I'm a pharmacist by the grace of God and a master's degree holder in Pharmacology and Therapeutics. So this is not a tell-all or anything, but I just feel like I said earlier, I just want to talk about my education/career journey up to this point. All right? So that you can know me better. So let's start from the beginning. After my secondary school, I finished secondary school pretty early, at least on average. I was quite young, right? And I wrote my first JAMB, right? And my mark was one of the highest back then, right? And I remembered our principal calling us into her office and asking us, which school did you want to go? What course did you want to do? And she wishing us well, like, I'm very certain that most of you will get into the schools that you wanted. But what if I told you that I wrote JAMB 4 times, my highest score being 259 and my lowest being 236, and I did not gain admission with JAMB. Yes, I did direct entry, guys. I did direct entry. So let me go into the full story. After writing my JAMB, my first JAMB, I had 258, by the way. And I wanted to study medicine in UI. Hear me out. It's not the usual. She wanted to study medicine and didn't. Let me just explain, alright? So I wanted to study medicine. And why did I choose medicine? Well, I believe that I had what it takes. And besides, there was this conditioning before that. My sister is an alumna of UI. And each time she came home then, for semester break, she would tell me stories about Alexander Brown Hall of UI, how they treat the medical students, how buses carry them. Anyways, that was then, that was over a decade ago. I don't know about now. I did not stay in UCH, so I don't know. But then, so she would tell me how the medical students are kind of special and all of that, and UI being first and the best, blah, blah, blah. So I already had determined that, I'm going to go to UIO. Me too, I must live in Alexander Brown Hall. I must be a medical doctor. Well, I have what it takes. I'm a brilliant young lady. I can do it. So, my JAMB, there was no doubt about it. I always chose medicine as my first choice. Then comes second choice. You know what my mom would do? She would wrap dentistry and pharmacy into 2 different papers. I will pick one. Whichever I picked is what we wrote as second choice. So, first JAMB, I had 58. I had high hopes, submitted results. I had quite good grades in my WAEC. And Then UI was doing aggregates. So by the time they did the aggregate, I didn't meet the aggregate, not to talk of even being called for post-UTME. I thought, well, it's the first year. I'll try again next year. I'm pretty young anyway. There's no reason to rush. So I waited 1 year, saying I will do JAM again and try again. I registered for JAM again. Now, this time, I did JAM series from back to back. Both physics, chemistry, biology, English, back to back. I did from 1978 till that current year. Sometimes my dad would sit with me while I'm doing it, encouraging me. Sometimes I won't eat. They will beg me to eat before I drop the series. I worked it, did all the answers. Now time came for JAM, second JAM. I went to the hairdressers, dressed well. My mom bought me new clothes. I did new hair. My parents carried me to JAM center, waited for me to finish. I was feeling like a celebrity, like a big deal. I went in there, I scattered it. I was expecting 300 and something. Guess what my mark was? 259. A whole year of reading series, only 1 mark increase. That's no show for me at UI, because aggregate still remained the same, basically. It was like a sucker punch. Like, how can a whole year of hard work result in just 1 mark increase? Then some of my friends that wanted other courses and other schools, they had gotten admission with their first JAM. Those of us that did second JAM, all of my friends, they had higher marks than me. Some had 280, 270. So my best friend that wanted, medicine together, she had chosen another school, medicine, and she had gotten in. And this time she wrote JAM again and got higher marks. So I was like, what is happening to me, God? What is this? I was frustrated. Okay, I went ahead, did a third JAM, this time with my younger brother, who was 2 years behind me in school. We did the JAM together. This time again, I was so sure that I did it so well. I mean, you have been writing JAM for like 3 years now. You should be an OG. I wrote JAM. I already marked myself, thinking 300 and something. Guess the mark that came, guys. 239. It's like, then I was convinced that JAM was marking me down. All right, 239. This time I had left UI. I've left UI alone. Like, I don't even want UI again. So I did. Oh, okay. Before this time, that second JAM, when JAM result came out and it was 259, so we did change of institution. I changed to EXU. I wrote their post-UTME. I had 77 or so, thinking that, okay, this time at least I read cutoff and all of that. Only for us to hear stories. We even got to the provost office, myself, my parents, and an aunt of mine. You know what they told us? That for those that did not choose EXU at first, that had to do change of course, do you get? That there's this list that they had to draw because there were limited spaces left. Alright? And that they chose only the first 4 on that list, those with the first 4 highest marks. Guess what? I was number 8 on that list. And those 3 people ahead of me had the same marks as me, 77 or so, but I was number 8. So I was like, what is happening, God? I cried till we got home from Ado that day. They were just consoling me. Like, what's this, Lord? My educational journey from primary school till now has been smooth. Why did getting into the university now become a Herculean task, a problem? God help me. Okay, third year, I did not bother choosing UI again. I chose Uni Ilorin because I heard that their cutoff mark was 240. Guess what I scored in JAM? 239. 1 mark down again. I should have been taking a cue from all of this. Okay. They said it doesn't matter, it's just 1 mark. I went for my post-UTME. I scored 62 or so. And till tomorrow, I didn't hear anything from them. No message, nothing, no related course, just nothing, zilch. That was when I decided that, okay, I would do direct entry. Through a friend of mine, that we put in 2 Uni Ilorin together, I did direct entry. I think I did direct entry, IGMB, 8 months, and we wrote exams. I scored 12 points, guys. Guess what? it was 13 points for medicine. In Uni Ilorin, I had 12 points. But surprisingly and ironically at the same time, I got admission. I got it in my portal, like, you've been offered admission to study medicine. I was so happy. And meanwhile, that same year I was doing my direct entry, IJMB. I wrote another jam. That was the fourth one, and that was my lowest mark. I had 236. So I put into other schools. I still chose UI again this time for jam, while I focused on Unilore for direct entry. So I chose UI for first choice in jam and WASU for second choice. UI called me this time for post-UTME for medicine, right? They had cancelled their aggregate thing. And Kwasu offered me admission to study microbiology because they didn't have medicine. But then I'd already gotten direct entry into medicine at Uni Ilorin now. So I thought, why should I waste my time? Go do post-UTME at UI 400 level. I beg, leave it. I'm not doing. So I forfeited that. I didn't go. I did younger for them. That I beg, hold yourself. And Uni Ilorin, then no strike, straight. You enter like this, when you are going out. My people. Okay, I paid acceptance fee. I went to school. Thank God my brother, my older cousin was there. So I just went to stay with him and I started doing acceptance fee and all of that registration stuff. Only for clearance time to come. They did not clear me, people. They didn't clear me. And what was it? They said because I did not get up to 13 points for medicine. But you offered me admission. Up till today, I still have my admission letter bearing medicine. It was like another big sucker punch. All through this, I didn't think that, God, maybe you were trying to tell me something. I was being stone-headed, like, no, I will not be another statistic. I will not be another person that I wanted to do medicine and I ended up doing something else. I was so determined that it's this medicine. But God now trapped me, in quotes, because He made it such that I forfeited. Maybe if I had gone for that UI post-UTME, of course I would have passed it and they would have picked me. Because my post-UTME for my direct entry even in Uni Ilorin, I had 84. You get? But then, only for me to get to clearance period. No, you cannot be cleared. You had 12 points instead of 13. God. Guys, I cried. The only thing I did not cry was blood. And it was around October. I saw that message about admission October 30th. It coincided with when my maternal grandmother died. So I had to go to school and my birthday is October 29th. So it was barely 2 weeks after. I could not celebrate my birthday. I was crying. Thank God for friends and families then that called me, encouraged me. I remember a friend, 2 brothers, Ezekiel and Ezra. They are still my friends till today. Thank you guys. I don't forget. You'll be surprised if you are listening to this. Like, baby, you still remember? Yes. They called me and told me a story of this woman who is a microbiologist and who travels the world over. It doesn't have to be medicine. I can do anywhere I find myself. I still hold that word till today because, guys, that word is true. So, my aunt called to encourage me. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my family, they were all around me. So I just resorted that, okay, what next now that medicine cannot work? Thankfully, I got somebody to help me who referred me to somebody, to meet that what's next. So this man asked me that, okay, I must choose now other related courses to medicine between nursing and pharmacy. Nursing, that when I was at home 2 years waiting for UI, my aunt already advised me to take School of Nursing form. And I said, no, I don't want nursing. Of course, I have an aunt who is a nurse and I love and respect her. I love seeing her in her white uniform. But I just don't see myself being a nurse. So I said, no, not nursing. Even though up to that point, pharmacy was dead to me. Like dead. Like I was never interested. I never found out what it was about. In my head, pharmacy is chemistry. Medicine is biology. You understand? I opted for pharmacy. And I got out of that man's office crying my eyes out. That why, God, why did this happen to me? So I was able to get clearance and I was cleared for pharmacy. Now, to go to the Faculty of Pharmacy. I was asking around. Nobody inside school knew where pharmacy is. I would ask students, and say, is there pharmacy in this school? I thought that was in Okioyi. Okioyi was where our College of Medicine was, or it still is in Unilorin. I think it's in Okioyi. That's what they would say. So I got keke. Somebody said, maybe when you get to PG, maybe you can locate it. So I got keke going to PG. PG was like the end of the school. After PG works department, and that works is like the extreme, and that was the total. So keke man just dropped me at PG that maybe you should be walking down. You will find it somehow. That was how I started walking down. Although it was a paved road, but it was covered in bush. I was walking down, and the walk took me like 15 minutes. While I was walking that day, I was talking to God, crying that, God, is this what I deserve? Is this what I've been reduced to after all my efforts? Guys, I got to the department. I only found one block of building. So when I entered, I can't forget Mr. Atiku, our faculty officer then, just saw me and asked me a question. It was a cheerful man. Just said, hello, welcome to the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, University of Ibadan. Congratulations, blah, blah, blah. These are the things you need for your registration. I was just looking at him with apathy like this. So he asked me that, what's wrong with me? Like, am I a sickler? Do I have sickle cell? Because I cried my eyes out. I was looking sickly and all of that. I said no, because my countenance wasn't good. Guys, I did registration begrudgingly. Of course, people that were already in the faculty, that were already in the department, the 100 level students that are now in 200 level, they have started lectures. So I joined them late. Thank God for my friend Ella. She's still my friend till today. Ella Listic Ella, pharmacist Ella. She shared her notes with me. I was able to catch up to a point, but all through my 200 level, I did everything with apathy. I wasn't happy. I told everybody that wanted to hear that I was supposed to be in medicine. They just didn't clear me, and now they threw me to pharmacy. So much so that a friend was calling me medicine then. Guys, I did everything absent-mindedly. A lot of things happened to me in 200 level. We would write exams, for example. We wrote a PharmChem exam, I remember, and it was when everyone got out and people were discussing, what did you write in number 5, number 6? I was like, number 5 and 6. What? Not knowing that there were more questions at the back which I did not even open or answer. Thank God I still passed, but not as much as I wanted. A lot of things like that. I would just sit alone and be on my own. That was when my very good friend Ayobami, he just came, He just came to me. He's not a talkative himself, but he noticed that I was just quiet. He came to me that, why are you so quiet? And that was how we got talking. So with time, I just adjusted to the environment, even though begrudgingly. And thank God for my classmates. We're a close-knit group, and it started getting better. It was in this 200 level that they stole my phone too. During biochemistry exam, we had biochemistry that day and anatomy the next day. So I took my phone. I don't know what prompted me. I had already left that phone in the room, but something just told me to go back and take it. I took it, kept it in front of the hall where there were security officers, thinking that nobody would touch it. Only for me to get out of the exam hall and could not find my phone, as well as phones of my friends that were kept in my bag. The other friends found their phones in faraway places, in the toilet, in one of the walkways. But mine was nowhere to be found. And guess what that was? In 2013, BlackBerry Bold 5, the white one. Guys, I almost cried blood. What? BlackBerry Bold 5. That was like one of the best phones then. And I had anatomy exam the next day. So I could not concentrate. I was just crying. But I told my mom and my sister. They comforted me and everything. I went. I read as much as I could. I did my anatomy exam. Guess what? My mom, God bless her for me, she sent me another BlackBerry Bold 5 a week after. But 200 level was rough for me. I had a hard time adjusting. I had to travel home for my grandmother's funeral. So I missed some tests. I had to come back and do makeup. All of that. But when I got to 300 level, then I started, getting used to the environment. I was introduced to pharmacology. I loved it, and it was looking good, in my head before. Pharmacy was all about chemistry. That was why in 200 level we're only doing pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmaceutical calculations, anatomy, and peripheral physiology. I wasn't feeling it. But when I got into pharmacology, guys, I started loving pharmacy. Yes, this is what I signed up for. This is what I want. Okay? It was getting good, only for me to hear news. Oh, lest I forget. When I was doing my IGMB then, I was hearing news that you don't gain admission that same year with your IGMB. I had to call my mom that, Mommy, what am I doing here if I can't gain admission this year? After wasting 2 years, my mom just told me something. Baby Sola, face what you are doing at that moment. Forget everything else. First, get what you want to get. Then we'll focus on what next. Guys, I gained admission that same year. I had my results submitted even when I wasn't there. The day the portal was to close for admission, guys. God just did it in a mysterious way. Fast forward. Now in 300 level again, when I was getting my footing and getting happy, I was hearing news that pharmacy in Uni Ilorin is not yet accredited. 2 sets before us may not graduate on time. I was like, what? God, what am I doing here again? What is this? Something I did not want before, foisted on me. Now I will not graduate on time. What is this? What time wasting is this? I told my mom again, and guess what she told me? Just the same. Baby Sola, just face what you're doing. Give it your best and leave the rest for God. Guys, I graduated right on time. The time I was supposed to graduate, that same year that I was supposed to graduate, everything we were accredited. No delay at all. That's my God for you. It's sounding like a testimony, right? Well, let's say it is. It is a testimony. I finished pharmacy school with distinction, guys. With distinction, to the glory of God. And I can't be happier that God made it such that I could not study medicine, because I believe that was what God did. He realigned me so much that even though I was stubborn, I was so determined. Because of medicine, I stayed home 2 years. When I had other options, I didn't want to do any other thing. He still made it so that it's like he tricked me until that pharmacy was what I studied. And today, guys, I can't be happier. I can't tell you how happy I am that I'm working in God's purpose for my life. Because if I'm not a pharmacist today, I don't know what I would be. I have found fulfillment in this profession. I'm so happy that this is what I studied. If not for pharmacy, I wouldn't be having this podcast. I'm just so grateful. And guess what, guys? The surprise of it is that UI that I stayed home 2 years because of them, that didn't give me admission, the same UI, I just got my master's degree from there yesterday. Isn't God great? Isn't God wonderful? And another story for my master's degree. Well, I served in University State, Ibadan, and I thought, well, since I'm here already, let me do my master's degree. And I got a job here just immediately, even before I finished my youth service. Let me do, my master's at UI. Everything was seamless. I didn't even have to sweat. I just went for my exam, passed it, and I got the admission. But before that, I told the senior colleague that I wanted to do my master's at UI. And he told me about this professor there, that I should meet her. She's also a lady pharmacist, that she will be able to assist, because, well, admission to UI is not easy. And I was like, okay. So he told me her office where I could meet her. I went to this office. The first time she wasn't on seat. I asked the secretary when I would meet her again. She said she wasn't sure. I asked for a number. She said she cannot give it. She doesn't have the authority to give out a number. Okay, I left. I went again the second time. The same thing. She wasn't on seat still. I just said, let me just forget it. Whatever will happen, will happen. I didn't see the lecturer. I got my admission. And whose name was on my admission letter? This lecturer. And yes, she's my mentor today, my project supervisor. So I believe that God already has a plan for us. We just have to align. That is it. You just have to surrender yourself. If you are being stubborn and God is realigning you, it's because He loves you. If not, one might regret it at the end of the day. So I'm just telling this my story to somebody that is out there, that is facing some challenges. I know that mine may be small in comparison to others, to other people's story. But I'm sure that there is one person out there who will listen to this podcast and who will gain something from this. You might be directly in that situation where you think, all hope is lost. There is nothing again. Just put your mind at rest. God has the best plan for you. That's why my favorite verse of the Bible is Jeremiah 29:11. God has the best plans for you. He says his thoughts towards us are of good and not of evil, to give us a future and a hope, an expected end. You have a hope for your future, right? You have that end that you expect. Then leave the journey to God. Just let him lead and you follow. How you get to that end, it is him. It is in him that you can find the right path to that end. You can't do it with your own knowledge. Then, when I told somebody around where my brother was living there, then when I got this admission begrudgingly, and I told her, they gave me pharmacy. That's what I usually say. They gave me pharmacy. She said, wow, pharmacy is lucrative. And I'll be like, lucrative for where? Is that what? Well, I don't even care if it's lucrative or not. But I'm right in the middle of it now and I'm enjoying it, guys. I am having the best time. I'm so grateful that I'm a pharmacist. I'm proud of it. I don't know what else I could be if not a pharmacist. And it's all to the guidance and alignment of God. So every step of our journey, he said it before we were born. He knew us. So that is me. I want to encourage you that whatever it is you're going through, it's not the end of the world. Just put your trust in God. Do your best, of course, and leave the rest for God. I had challenges during the master's degree as well. Being a Nigerian is number one. Is it COVID? Is it ASU strike? Bringing things to a standstill. But still, God showed up. And here I am today, a master's degree holder from the University of Ibadan. Guys, it is only by the grace of God that I am what I am. So, if you have listened up to this point, I want to say thank you. It is just my testimony, and I could not think of a better way to share it than here on this podcast and make it my TGIF episode. Now, you know me better. I still want to encourage you to follow, share, and like this podcast. Look forward to more enlightening, exciting episodes. Follow on X, on Instagram, and other social media platforms as they will be coming on. Please, most importantly, share this podcast. All right? It helps us get more visibility and it helps us reach more people, and it encourages us to even bring better topics, better discussions about your medications to you. And did I tell you that you could actually suggest topics for us? Just put it under the Q&A section. You could put your comments there, what you want me to talk about, what you need enlightenment on, your questions and all. I'm ready to answer. I've told you as well that you can contact us via email at auntypharmacistpodcast@gmail.com. On any social media, even LinkedIn, you find me there. Gbemisola Adebisi Jose is the name, and you could connect with me. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on Monday. Till then, stay healthy and God bless you.